Coming up, I use Savage's aptly named lightweight Storm in some horrendous conditions as I self-film a sika hunt in County Wicklow. And also Daniel goes out with the same rifle as we test the hunting capabilities of the 6.5 Creedmoor. Welcome to Fieldsports Ireland.
So something a little bit different today. I've come out to the mountain to go for a stalk on my own. It's cold and it's windy, but we've got no rain. Give it another 10 minutes here, try and build up the bravery, keep the heated seats on for a little bit longer and then give it a go. On the drive up this morning, I said, you know what, we'll try and self-film a hill stalk. So it's going to be tricky. Got a variety of tripods and GoPros and drones with me, but it's actually far too windy to fly the drone. It's 2 degrees this morning and probably 20-mile-an-hour winds. So whatever we do, we'll be doing it at a fairly close range. I've got a Savage 110 lightweight Storm with me, and this is what kind of brought about the idea of carrying my own camera gear. This rifle is so light. It's 5.6 pounds, just the rifle itself. And I've got a little VX6 loophole 2-12 on it, bipod and sling and stuff. It's like 7.5 pounds, so crazy lightweight. Not going to shoot anything big, hopefully just a calf or a yearling, because I'm going to try and backpack it out with all the stuff. Not really looking forward to it. It's very, very cold and very, very windy. Not exactly pleasant stalking conditions.
So we've just got in against this bit of timber here, just looking for a bit of shelter, and I'm just going to work my way down here. Won't see any deer out on the hill, but weather is just so windy. So I'm hoping they're going to be down in the bit of a valley. There's a river down there that I think we'll struggle to cross, but just going to work my way down in there and see if there's some hinds down in there, but so windy. Really, really difficult conditions. So I've just spotted a couple of hinds and calves across the river in the trees on the other side of this valley, and they're obviously in there trying to get a bit of shelter. I'm only about 200 yards from them, but really with this wind I'm going to have to cut that distance by quite a lot before it's suitable to take a shot. So just going to come down through this timber, get out the bottom and sort of see what we can see there, see if we can build a position to shoot from. But good to see them, but they're just mooching around in these trees, so it's going to be quite difficult to get a shot, but we'll give it a go. Well, that was reasonably successful. I managed to get the strike and the shot on film. Unfortunately, the deer didn't go down on the spot. Shot went a little bit behind the shoulder, took the heart out. The range was think it was about 195 I ranged it at, so wind pushed it a little bit. I didn't allow anything for wind, even though where we were it was blowing very strong, but where we are here and where the deer were, there was basically no wind. So I just put it on the shoulder. It probably took it about 2 inches back. It's my first time ever shooting a deer with a 6.5 Creedmoor, and I've been impressed with the caliber so far using it on targets and a couple of other films we did. But I was keen to take a body shot just to sort of see what the reaction of the animal would be. 143 grain ELDX, and yeah, I'm pretty impressed. She ran 25-30 yards. Didn't give a massive reaction to the shot, but I'm sort of so used to seeing them hit with bigger calibers where the initial shock is more considerable and it's more obvious that the animal has been hit. But being hit where she was, straight through the heart, behind the shoulder, you're not hitting any major bones that are going to impart a lot of shock. Be interesting to see now when I open her up how much damage is being done inside. I am not somebody who worries about meat damage. When you're in this sort of terrain, you need your deer dead as close to the shot site as possible. So it looks like that was opened up quite considerably. There's a good exit down a bit on the opposite side. We'll have a look at that now and we'll see what sort of damage is done internally. Well, there's the heart, and you can see that's been absolutely shredded. I'm just giving it a wash off so we can see a bit better. But yeah, that's good enough for me. Well, that's me packed up, ready for the hike out. Using the Vaughan deer pack, which is just about big enough to fit this yearling hind in. Rifle goes on the side, tripod tucks away in there. All my other bits and bobs go in there and in the lid. But yeah, she fits in nicely, and it's going to be quite a weight to carry up. But rifle is tucked away, scope is protected in there. Everything's nice and safe. So we've got about a half hour trek back to the car, and hopefully this will be comfy enough. Well, carrying all that gear up the mountain and trying to film myself seemed like a good idea at the time, but it really wasn't very easy. Now, I'm starting to become a bigger fan of the 6.5 Creedmoor, especially for targets, but I really want a second opinion. So back before Christmas, I followed Daniel out in the mountain in the lashing rain to see how he got on with it. Daniel was more than a little disappointed to hear I still wasn't convinced about the Creedmoor's sika killing capabilities, so he jumped at the chance to put the gun on his licence and drag it up a rainy Wicklow mountain with me to test it out. The weather is far from ideal and I'm not hopeful for success, but we follow a familiar route in the hope that we'll bump into deer heading back for the forest. The rain makes our binos almost useless, and I feel that even if there are deer out here, they'll see us long before we spot them. Fortunately for us, we have a secret weapon in the form of Daniel's girlfriend Anna, who spots this stag on a neighbouring property. The stag is aware of our presence, but he's desperate to get to the shelter of the trees. He drops out of sight, but appears again on our permission. It's a long shot for most hunters, but Daniel's long-range experience and knowledge of the caliber make it well within his ability.
We just had a really great stalk there. We spotted a couple of deer up the valley, and made our final approach in here where I could get a shot off the bipod here in the heather. Ranged it, dialed on, put it on the shoulder, and he's just moved 5 yards and dropped. So I'm really happy with how he reacted to the shot, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be stoned dead when we get up there. That's the first deer I've shot to Creedmoor a lot in competition recently at the PRS, but that's the first time I've shot one, and it done exactly what I hoped it would do with a shot on the shoulder. He reacted perfectly and moved about 5 yards and came down. So the bullet's done the job, and the caliber, I'd have no problem with using it for deer.
Yeah, because it's certainly something I was a little bit concerned about, was just that bullet. I've never been a fan of a 6.5 bullet, but people rave about the Creedmoor, but that was quite a big distance as well. It's not really, it wasn't an easy shot. Like, you'd need the bullet to do its job.
It's well out there, and we talk about the 6.5 Creedmoor and their sort of killing capacity, but it's a very smooth rifle to shoot, and that deer didn't go 5 yards after taking a shot on the shoulder. So I'd be very happy with that bullet, and especially at that range, like he was well out there. And a lovely day Jason's brought me up here for as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see me through the rain.
This wasn't forecast.
Remember I brought you to Roscommon and it was all nice and sunny. I'm happy with that. The shot, we had a lot of wind coming left to right, and it's pushed me a few inches forward of where I was aiming, but it was still very much so a fatal shot, so I'm happy with that.
So that's actually been a really interesting couple of days for me. We decided to take on the 6.5 Creedmoor as part of this Stalking Success series because the 6.5 is not a bullet I've ever been fully convinced of for a round for sika. Just had never been too impressed with the terminal ballistics of it. Yesterday the hind eye shot didn't convince me. She died within 10 seconds of being hit, but her reaction to the shot wasn't what I'd like to see. But you can't judge a bullet or a caliber on one instance. I've seen deer shot with every caliber and run. So came out again this morning and put Daniel behind the rifle. Really experienced shot. I knew he'd be on the money. Yeah, his shot was 75 odd yards further than mine yesterday, but that stag didn't go. He came 10 yards down a steep bank, so if he'd have been on flat ground he wouldn't have moved any more than a couple of yards. I can see it definitely is a viable caliber. We'll do more films with it just to see. I know a lot of people like the 6.5 caliber. A lot of people love the Creedmoor. I'm a fan of it, used it in my target shooting. But there's a lot of positives to that little rifle for a lightweight rifle, short action, nice to shoot. And yeah, no problem even at the longer ranges. Interesting couple of days, nice couple of deer for the freezer and some absolutely horrendous weather. Luckily it's just stopped raining now, but we're well and truly soaked.
No easy deer in Wicklow.
Nice and dry though.
The rain's actually nice. I washed sweat down to my wide boots.
Well, that's all we have time for this month. I do apologise that we missed January, but it was a very busy time getting ready for the British Shooting Show. If you haven't already, jump onto the YouTube channel and subscribe, and you'll get a notification anytime any of our Fieldsports videos go live. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.